Good afternoon, everyone. It's the Saints man, small van driver on the CX. It's Saturday afternoon. It's 3:52, the third of December, and this is looking back on a week in the life of, starting on Monday the 28th. First of all, as the title of the video says, I've done over 1,000 jobs on the CX, and I emphasise on the CX because I've done, in fact, in 1,010 now. Because I have done quite a few private jobs, but actually on the CX, going through their CX invoicing, I hit 1,000 on Tuesday, which I've been doing this 2 years, just on 2 years. So it averages out 500 a year, plus I've done about 200 jobs. So I've done about 600 jobs a year. And being I work 210 days roughly a year, averages nearly 3 a day. So for a small van, that's probably about right, I think. Unless you're doing multi-drop, obviously you're only working for one company, or you're doing one big long job and whatever. But let's go back. A good week. It's quite tough actually this week, Monday to Thursday. Actually, excuse me, I'm in the bedroom. This is our bedroom because wife's watching telly, and it's somewhere to come quiet, and so I thought I'd do it in here. But we started Monday. I had a job booked in, I think I said in the last video, which took me to Lord's Cricket Ground from Northampton. And it was just one box going to an air conditioning engineer who was working in Lord's. And I did get into the van, right into Lord's, into the inner car park. I was at the nursery end, just behind the stands. They were working in the hospitality, putting air conditioning in. Well, renewing air conditioning. So I didn't get out onto the pitch, which is a shame because security was very tight. But I did have a sort of mooch around a little bit, and I stayed in there until I got my next job because there's nowhere to park around there. It's near Regent's Park. And I got the second job, which was, believe it or not, it's a good job I stayed where I was, because I picked up my second job and it was a quarter of a mile away. It was a hospital. It was picking up striker case, going from London Hospital to Addlestone, which is West London. London, I don't do on mileage. I do on distance and how far I think it is I'm going to get there per hour, and I quote accordingly. Never quote pence per mile, London. You never do that. The minimum I would quote in London is over £2 a mile, minimum. And it depends where it's going as well. But anyway, I picked this job up pretty much within 20 minutes, half an hour of dropping the other lot and a little walk around. And it got me to Addlestone, which was fine. And I then got a job from there. I was West London. And there was a job from High Wycombe to Northampton, to not far from me, about 3 miles from where I live. And it was a great job, a great way of getting me home. So it got me home. Pretty good day overall. I did 209 miles in total, and a 9-hour day really. And had a little bit of waiting around time and messing around, but yeah, it was 3 jobs, one down to London, one across London, one back to Northampton. Didn't hit target. I was just short of target, but it was still a good, nice, steady day. I was done by 3 o'clock, 3:15. I started at 6:30 in the morning, and I was home at 3. So, and I got a job booked in for Tuesday. I booked a job in Tuesday, picked the job up. It was from Kettering to Bromsgrove, and it was from a plumber's merchant moving stock to the same plumber's merchant, a different branch. And Kettering to Bromsgrove, I put really good mileage on it because I live 15 miles from Kettering, and I included that, and I got it. So I was well pleased with that, because there weren't much about in the morning. So it's a good job I booked this in the night before, because in the morning there weren't nothing about. And I started at 8 o'clock. I didn't have an early start. It was 8 o'clock. I'd got to pick it up at 8:30. So it was okay. And then I was looking for a job, and there was a lot of jobs. South Birmingham, round Birmingham area, there was a lot of jobs pinging up. And I picked a job up. I did a job, there was 12 miles. And I did my minimum charge on it, and it was from Kidderminster to Albury. And it was literally one box. No, it was meant to be one box. It was 5 boxes, but small boxes. Went in easy. It took me 35 minutes, the lot. and it kept me around the Birmingham area. I decided if I could try and keep around that sort of area, I should do okay. And I picked a job up from Oldbury, where I was, the same industrial estate. It took me about 20 minutes, half an hour, and that was going to Burton-on-Trent. It did say Derby, but it was a DE and a big postcode, and it was Burton-on-Trent, just outside Burton-on-Trent in a village. I can't think where it was. But it was two parcels, picking up from the same. It was an engineer suppliers, and it was to two different engineers working on the same big site in Burton-on-Trent. And I got to find both. Well, I didn't. The security bloke said, "Don't worry about it. I'll page them both, phone them, and they'll come and get it." Saved me a lot of time, that did, and effort, because I could see it was going to be a pain. So we were out for Burton-on-Trent. We were looking for a job, and that was my job that got me my 1,000, which I didn't know at the time. I didn't even have a clue. And I worked for the same company again, the same shipper, who got a job from Nottingham, 20 mile away from where I was. And it was one A4 letter to a law company in Milton Keynes, which was brilliant because it was a good, longish job, well paid, and it took me to Milton Keynes, which it got me 50, well, it was 18 miles in the end from home. So I did 4 jobs that day, stayed localish, because I'm not tramping at the moment because it's too cold, and I went over target. In fact, what I did that day and the day before, it got me smack on my target for the week. So, and again, I was home at 5:30, didn't start till 8, 9.5 hours, and that was pence per mile. The hours I worked and the money I got was one of the top days, really. It wasn't mega money, but it was good. And I'd also picked a job up. Before I got home, someone phoned me. I got a phone call from a local shipper who says, "Have you got anything tomorrow?" I said, "No." They said, "We've got a unit to go to an engineer in Bath. It's right in the centre of Bath." And he told me the mileage. I quoted on it. I says, "Well, that's what I want." And I've got the Bath clean air zone in Bath, although I'm Euro 6, but you know. And I got really good money for it. Good money. Now, it's the furthest I've been all week, and I wanted to get back. But I thought, I'm picking it up at 8 o'clock. I'll be in Bath. I've got to be in Bath for 11, which is quite tight, really. I did get there. I got there at 10 to 11. And, oh, anyone who's been to Bath, you'll know. It's just, that if you've got to go to the centre, and I had to go to the real centre, right in the middle. Yeah, it's the last, getting to Bath was fine. It took me half an hour. Nearly a good half an hour. When I phoned the engineer to say I was half an hour away, I was on the outskirts of Bath. But that's what my sat nav's told me because of the traffic. And that's fine. And then I was looking for another job, and I knew I'd have a bit of struggle. So I parked at Morrison's in Bath, which is just on the London Road as you go in on the left. Sat there, and I thought I've got to either drive to Bristol, I think, because there's nothing around here, or do I sit tight for a bit? So I went and got a sandwich and grabbed a coffee. I thought I'll sit tight and see. There was 2 vans in Bath. There was a mid-wheelbase van and there was a long-wheelbase van. So I thought if a short-wheelbase van did come up somewhere around here, there's a good chance I'll get it. And I did. A job come up it's in Blandford. And Blandford's only 7 miles from Bath. Going to Winnersh. And Winnersh is south of Reading. It's called the Winnersh Triangle, just off the M4. And there's loads of companies in there, business companies, not builders or anything, office-based companies, finance companies, law, solicitors, like that sort of companies. And this job, I looked at it and I quoted good money on it. And I thought, geez, I want this job. But I quoted competitive, not massive money, because I didn't want some of these guys around me to think I've got to get out of here and I'll do it for anything. And I did it for near the lower end of my pay structure. And I got a phone call and got it. And I counted the 8 miles to Blandford, and it weren't in Blandford. It was in a place called Monkton Fairley. And it was picking up one box of records or something like that. Not as in what you play, they're records, as in old records that they're in storage. And when a company phones up and wants them, they distribute them. And that got me a great job to south of Reading. And that was pretty much, I thought I'll get something out of there, no problem. And I pulled in there, and waited, and I waited a good bit. And then there was a job come up from Basingstoke to Newbury. Worked for the shipper quite a lot. It's a really good shipper, and it wasn't a massive job. It was picking up from hospital, going to Newbury, dropping off at a medical. All I say is medical place. Those will know what Newbury is, where it is, what it is. And I got to the hospital, and I was picking up 7 cases. 7 of these cases to go. I got good money for it. Happy with what I got, and it got me nearer home, Newbury. And I thought, you know what? If I get this job, I'm virtually done. I've done my target. I will have done my target, and then I can drive home because I'm not tramping. I get to the hospital, and they couldn't find them. In fact, they said they'd already sent them in the morning. So I took the lady's name. I've been to the stores and took the lady's name. He says to me, "There is none to go. You ain't got nothing." I says, "Right." So I took her name, made sure I got it, phoned the shipper up, explained to him. She said, "There's nothing. The cases have gone in the morning." And he says, "I'll ring you back. Can you stay? Yeah, I'll stay where I am." It was about 5 minutes or so, and he rang me back. And it's happened a couple of times with this shipper, with hospitals and stuff. And the shipper has said, "Yep." He says, "Pull out, Dave." And I says, "Yeah, it's just a cancellation fee." And my cancellation fee, he added a fiver extra on it. And it was only a tenner short of what the job was going to be. So that's good shippers for me. That is good shippers. I do quite a lot of work with the shipper. And I like to think I do a lot of work that's quite tricky. You have to use a bit of common sense. It's a lot of hospital stuff. And I'll do it. It's a bit of a challenge for me to find it. Anyway, it was cancelled, but the way I was going past where it had been dropped off anyway. So I would have had to go that way home anyway. But I decided I was going to steady drive home, and I was going to see what I could pick up on the way home. A little job, just to give me a 30 quid, 40 quid little job on the way. But it didn't materialise. Nothing happened. I was home at 6, done. So it weren't. It was the longest day for what I got, but that's what happens. So it was Wednesday. But I did pull over at Toaster on the way home. There's a McDonald's and a big BP garage. Pulled over, just have a look at the feed, and there was a job on there for Thursday that was a late-ish start. It was 9 o'clock pickup Northampton, going to a place called Brill. Now, Brill is 40 miles away. You go down the A41 past Bicester, turn a right towards Tame, and it's a village. I was doing delivering alcohol to this place. It's always good pence for mile alcohol, but obviously you're handballing. And I've got a fair old handball on this. It was 260 odd kilos. As it turned out, it was 4 kegs, 2 large kegs, 2 smaller kegs. And it was going to Sports and Social Club in Brill, which is fine. There was no one there at the Sports and Social Club. It was all locked up. There was a phone number. I rang the phone number. No answer. I rang the shipper. She got me 2 mobile numbers. I rang the first one. Sure enough, the gentleman says, "Can you leave them?" There was one already outside, round the side, with the invoice on it from another brewery. So I phoned shipper. She said, "Yeah, take photos." I'm doing this regular now. I'm taking photos of when I'm delivered and where to. And I just add them as a document. It don't take long. And it's just to prove that's where it's gone. So I started doing it. And I took about 4 photos, sent them, and she was totally happy with it. Then I was looking for a job, and I thought, I'm in a good area here. I was between Aylesbury and Bicester. I pulled over, went to On Your Bike, which is a bike shop on the A41, which I go to quite a lot. Disappointed that the snack wagon wasn't outside, but I got coffee still in my flask. So I thought I'll sit here and we'll see what we can get. Must get something out of Aylesbury. Bicester, Aylesbury, even Brackley, maybe Oxford. And a job, a couple of them popped up. Nothing really rocked my boat. There was one to Aylesbury to Bristol with a shipper I've worked with, but it's equal only. And I quoted on it. And I was the only small van around, and I was 4 miles away. And it just sat there. And I was half thinking, well, shall I ring or shall I not? And another job had popped up from Banbury to Cambridge, which is, I was 20 odd mile away, and I'd quoted on it. I quoted on it, and I included the 20 miles. It was going to Cambridge, centre of Cambridge. And I thought, well, I won't get it for that. because I'm got to travel to Banbury 20 miles. I've included that in my price, and I was still hoping the Aylesbury to Bristol because I thought I might get a chance Bristol somewhere, but I thought, well, we'll see. And the phone went, and it was the Banbury to Cambridge, and I could get there within the time which I'd looked. And he says, yeah, it's yours. So off we went to Banbury. So I cancelled the quote on the other one, and it was still there for all the time it was in my range. It was just sat there. So whether they hadn't took it off or cancelled, I don't know. I was happy because I got even more money going to where I went. I went Banbury over to Cambridge. It took me quite a long while. It's quite a journey to get across. You have to go past Northampton, where I live, to get to Cambridge. And it was right in the centre of Cambridge. And it went to a theatre. And it was stage. They'd painted stage props. And they'd forgot to take them for this year's panto, which is Dick Whittington. But it is in Cambridge anyway. And I took it. And I parked in. It was a real pain to get to. Cambridge in the middle is just... But there was a loading area. Traffic warden was fine. She was there. Just said to her, I'm going to deliver just down the alley there. Fine, she says, as long as it's not too long. Which I weren't. 5 minutes. And I pulled out of Cambridge. I just pulled out. I didn't do the POD. I got it signed. I moved away from and went out just outside Cambridge on a lay-by and filled it in. And I'm thinking, well, I could do something now. And I know a good courier. He subscribes here. He's on here as well. He subscribes to my channel. And I thought I'd give him a ring. He gets work out of Huntingdon. And it's normally pick up the night before deliver. But before I could ring him, which I was going to do, I pulled into Cambridge Services. And he phoned me. He asked, he said, have you got anything tomorrow? I said, no. I said, funny enough, I was just about to phone you because I'm in Cambridge. I'm just tipping in Cambridge, which I'd already done. And he went, I've got a pick up in the morning to go down to a postcode in Portsmouth and one in Brighton. 2 pickups from, I've done work for him before. And I said to him, can you phone, see if I can pick it up tonight? Because I'd rather pick it up here and as I'm going to be out of my way. He said, he'd ring me back, and he did. And he says, yep, you can pick it up 6 o'clock, which I was a bit early. So by then I went and pulled in Cambridge Services, which I still think is one of the best services I've ever been to for food. They've got so much choice at Cambridge Services. It's just food heaven. And it all looks all right. They're not just your McDonald's, your Burger King, although they are there. There's local ones, and they've put a noodles bar in, a Chinese, freshly cooked. There's a bakery. There's all sorts. You're spoilt for choice. So I waited there, decided I was going to travel up to Huntingdon and get some fuel. And I thought, well, I'll go to this place to pick up a bit earlier and see. So I went and got some fuel, hoovered the van up, paid £1.50 for a hoover for 6 minutes. License to print money. But cleaned all the van out. And when I got to the place, I got there about 5:15. There was a DPD van in there collecting. And the bloke, I just sat there. I thought, I'll wait and I'll go in later. And he came to me, he says, are you coming collecting? Because we've got a few coming in. I went, yeah, but I'm a bit early. He said, what postcodes you got? I told him. He said, I'll go and have a look. I didn't expect him to come back, but he did. In 5 minutes later, he was back with his two packets. So I got away from there early. So I didn't think I was going to be home till 7. As it was, I got home about 6:20 with the 2 packets on. One for Chichester and one for Hove. So, and they got to be delivered before 12. So that was Thursday done. I didn't put the last one, although I picked them up. I left them off. So Thursday looked a poor day, as in pence per mile and mileage, and how much I'd earned. Because I'd only done 2 jobs, although I'd done 2 goodish jobs, but I still under target by a good bit. So to hit my weekly target, Friday would have to be a good day. It was going to have to be a really good day to hit my target. So I got a good start because I've got money I'd got on this job down to Brighton, 2 drops. Ended up at just outside Brighton, and I got them done by 10:15, 10:30. And I was looking for a job, and I really just wanted one good job home. But there was 3 or 4 drivers within a sort of 10-mile radius of me, short wheelbase, 1 small van and a medium, and a long wheelbase. So I thought I'm going to have to see what I can get. And a job popped up from Brighton not from far from where I was, to Southampton. And I quoted on it. I thought, I don't really want this job because I'm still going to be on the south coast, not getting near home. And it was, I forget how much it was, but I put over £1 a mile on it just to, thought I'll put a quote on it. If I get it, it's worth doing. And I got a phone call and I did get it. There was a proviso. It was, the shipper said to me, it's a pallet, but it's got to be handballed on to your van and you should get help. And it's got to be handballed off the other end. And I don't know whether you will get help, but it's a pallet. It's been delivered to the wrong. It's one shop to another shop, and they've delivered to the wrong shop. They've left it at the wrong shop. And I thought, well, and he put extra money. He said, I can put this on it. And the money was okay. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. So it made it a really good job, pence per mile. And I thought, yeah, let's do it. And it was one of them you regret, really. You shouldn't have thought about it more. But would I do it again? Maybe so. Perhaps want a bit more money. But the pallet I picked up right in the centre of Brighton, just off the seafront, right in the middle of the shopping centre, BN1, so it was right in the middle. And I went into the shop, it took me a bastard to find, right where all the taxi ranks are, right in the centre, but I phoned the shop and she said, yeah, you can park in the taxi rank. Are you come to collect all these parcels? I went, yeah. I said, I'm going to be in a couple of minutes. And I already started thinking, all these parcels? And it was a perfume shop. It's all perfume, smelly stuff, candles, scents, all this palaver. Scented this, scented that, different perfumes. And it was going to the same shop in Southampton. So I went in, told her I was there. My van's outside, and there was 42 parcels, which is okay. Yeah, it's a lot. It was never one pallet. If it was a bloody tall pallet because my van was chocker. But I still couldn't moan then because she had about 7 people working in the shop and it was busy. And all I did was stay at the back of the van because security, because I got the van doors open in the middle of High Street, and they just kept bringing it out, bringing it out. It took 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. So I'm not complaining. That was the easy bit. And then I was going to Southampton with them. So I've got a full load. It's to the back door. I took a picture, sent to the shipper to say that it was a bloody big pallet, but that's what it is. Now, Southampton West Quay Shopping Centre. I'll give you a clue. It's on Western Esplanade. I've been there loads of times. I've done a pub there. I've done John Lewis's there. Can't remember the name of the pub. Bill's might be. And I've got a loading dock, which they give me the wrong loading dock. They give me A3, and there's 7 loading areas, service yards. They give me A3 and it was B3. So I'd been in the first one wrong. I had to come out of there. Still okay. Went into B3. Yep, it's in there. And that's when security guards do my head in. I said, I've never been here before. Do you know what loading dock it is? No, there'll be information in there on the wall. All the companies. Okay. So I drove in, parked up. It was a massive loading service yard, but it was big enough. I looked at the board, and I'd got number 44 on mine. Number 44 was Optical Express. And I weren't delivering to Optical Express. So something's not quite right. So I went all around. I walked all around, left the van, walked all around the service yard, which was 200 yards. And there was no name of this company I was delivering to on the boards. Not once did I see the name. So now I'm thinking, right, I need some help here. And then I'm like, who was clearing up the rubbish? He worked for the shopping centre management thing. So I said to him, do you know where this place is? I'm in the right service yard because I've been told it's the right service yard. But do you know where they are? And he went, yeah, it's that one over there. And they're on the top floor. They're next floor up. Okay. I says, but they haven't got their names not on there. He said, no, they're number 44. I went, well, that says Optical Express. He said, oh, they've not been there ages, mate. He says, no, it says it's the... So like, what? So I found 2 cages, tall cages. And I filled 2 cages with these parcels. And I locked the van up, got my POD book, and off I goes. In the lift, up one set of floors, and there was a lady having a break, having a fag break or something, or she was doing so, having a break from one of the shops, and you're in the back of the corridors. And I just said, "Do you know where this place is?" She said, "Yeah." It's like, "You're on the right floor. Thinking where we are, you're just down 2 corridors and down there." Sure enough, well, it's got Optic Express, that's crossed out. They put it in chalk and they put the name of the company on there. So I thought, thank God for that. Hammered on the door, nothing. No answer. Hammered again, no answer. Got my phone out, no signal, because I'm in the shopping centre, I'm underground. I'm like, sake. So next door was a sports shop, because it got it on their door. So I knocked on their door. And the lad called me eventually. And he says, "Can I help you?" I says, "Yeah, I'm not. Can you go to the shop next door?" I named the shop. I said, "Can you just go to them and tell them there's a delivery bloke hammering on the door next door and he's getting a bit impatient? Do you just tell him that I've been here a while?" He went, "Yeah, no worries." Off he went. And sure enough, 3 or 4 minutes later, a young girl come. Nice girl. Weren't her fault. And then she come out with a piece de resistance. She said, "Oh, this is the stuff that's been delivered to the wrong branch in Brighton." I went, "Yeah." She said, "Thank God for that." She says, "But I don't know how to take you on the wrong floor." She said, "This is the shop floor and our stock room's next floor up." And she must have looked at my face and she went, "But what I'll do, if I push one of these trolleys and we go in the lift, I'll take you there." So that sweetened it a bit. I went, "Yeah, lovely." So up we goes on a set of floors. And to sweeten it even more, which I thought was really good of her, she said, "Don't worry," she says, "I'll take all these out." She says, "Because I work, that's what I do." She says, "If you want to get on your way, that's brilliant. You get on your way," she says, "and I'll take these back down, these cages." So bless her, she signed this book, and that sort of put a bit of a sweetener on it from what had been a pig of a job. For the money I got, yeah, I worked. But it's experience, isn't it? Would I do it again? Yeah, I'll probably ask for more for handballing, because I didn't expect to be that many. It was definitely more than one pallet, but it's done and it's done. I still got goodish money. And I pulled into Southampton, and I pulled out of there and I went on to where the Isle of Wight ferry goes, the red funnel, whatever it is. And next to it on the right is a lovely car park. You look out, there's a cruise liner parked. You're on the seafront. You can put £1 in the machine for 2 hours, but you don't put it in until the old he comes round. And I had ice cream, 99, because the cafe was shut, but the ice cream van was there. And better than that, the ice cream van served tea and coffee, so I had a tea as well. Now, I've got a decision. I am short of my target by, I don't know, 50 quid, 60 quid. I've got a 120-mile drive home, and it's 3 o'clock. Yeah, up to 2, quarter to 3. Do I start driving home and just try and get a 50 quid job from Newbury, Oxford, somewhere like that? Do I just sit in Southampton and see what happens? In the end, I thought, sod it. I'm going to have a little stroll with my ice cream, just chill. Not going to worry too much about it. See what happens. And I just about give up. Well, just about think about moving up to sort of Andover way, up the A34, and a job come on, 2 pickups, Portsmouth, Chichester to Chipping Norton. We all know Chipping Norton. It's only one place that ever goes there. It's outside of Chipping Norton. It's a Formula racing team. Perfect for me because I've done it a few times and it is 39 miles to my house. It takes me over an hour because they're all B roads. It's 39 miles. But I thought, I'm not quoting cheap because no one's going to want to do this job, I don't think. Because you end up in the middle of nowhere, but it gets me nearer, good for me. So I did quote quite high on it, thinking, no, I'll just quote my normal rate, but I'll add on my mileage from Southampton to Portsmouth, which was not much. And I got a phone call. Yeah, brilliant. Can you pick that up? It's done me a real favour. And to be fair, he rounded it up. I'd put an odd number on it and he rounded it up to a round number. He was on good money for that, but I was happy. It got me brilliant money. So that was it. I picked that up. Friday was a real long day, but it was a good earner. It was a really good earner. And it took me over target by 70 quid. So I was well happy. So that was my week. over 1,000 jobs on the CX. It's obviously near 1,200 with all the private work I do, and I had a good week. I did 1,485 miles, every single mile from start to finish. I did work. I worked 52 hours, so I worked average 10-hour a day. So it's a fair bit. 37 37 and a half hours was driving, and I did 1,074. You add the VAT on, I did 1,288. So you're taking off 9% for me flat rate scheme to give to the taxman, which was 116 quid. It takes it to 1,172. So it's a good week. But my pence per mile, I do it without me VAT. That extra 100 and something quid, which I get over the top. I tend to forget about that. That's my little nest egg put away. I get 100 quid a week away. It's 5 grand a year. That's for any sort of unusual happenings, things that go wrong. Just a nest egg in case I need to use it for something. And my average pence per mile, because I had 2 bad days, Wednesday, Thursday, which I didn't do very good, I still got 74 pence. But if you do it with a VAT, I'm over 80, 85 pence. So, it's a good week. In the end, it was a good week. It did seem a struggle. Friday saved me. I did 300, over 340 Friday, and that got me out of it. I normally try and do that on a Monday or Tuesday, get a really good day in. If you'd seen my previous video by different days, I try and get I stage it as 5 days. I try and get a 300 quid day in Monday or Tuesday, and then that sort of makes the rest of the week nice and easy. It worked opposite. I did twice I was over target, 3 times under, but it equaled out. So it's all good. My cheapest fuel that week with VAT, that's everything, was 159, which is really good. Next week, just turn the page. My fuel next week is UK fuel cards, and it is with VAT. With VAT, it's 131, £1.31. You add 20% on, it's 157.23. So I'm getting it. I filled up actually Friday. No, today I filled up, and I worked out I'm going to save about 8 quid a day, 9 quid a day, maybe even a tenner a day. At this rate, it's 20. I mean, Monday's rate was 182, so it's 25. Yeah, 25 pence a litre, and I'm putting in 40 litres a day. It's a tenner, isn't it? So it's a big saving. Anyway, that's my week. It's been a good week. I'm looking at a van. I'm looking at vans again. I'm now. I'm now. I'm gonna just move that up. I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna keep small van. I looked at and decided that I'm gonna look at a Fiat Doblo, long wheelbase. I see one, but it's 400 miles away. Good price, but I think it's gone. I looked this morning. I think it might have gone. But I am looking at getting an L2 Fiat Doblo, 6 gears, newish 20 plate. May even go to see what I can get for 21 plate. It's going to be below 20,000 miles, and I just think it'll be just right. They carry, including Fat Boy me, take me off, about 850 kilos. They're over 100. They're over a ton, just over a ton. But if you take off me and all my kit and the fuel, everything, it's probably 150 kilos. So you're probably looking even more than that. So it's I'll say 800 kilos I can carry. This van, I can carry 650 kilos. So, and also on an L2, I can get €2 pallets. And I'm still getting the pence per mile. I spoke with John, Toolman Small Van, if you want to look at his videos, and he reckons he gets low 50s. Well, I get 55 on this, so with that difference, it's no different. And there's no there's no AdBlue on a Fiat Doblo. There's AdBlue on mine, and I'm putting 2-3 litres a week in. And it's 20 quid now for 10 litres. So I'm putting 6 quid a week in. So it all works out. And I like the Doblo because there's not that much electronics can go wrong. It's a simpler van. It's still got your central locking, your cruise control and aircon, which is vital for me, and I can still get my kit in it. And I can sleep in it, there's more room, it's longer, and it's also taller at the back. So, yeah, sort of going to be looking around for one the next month. Good time to buy one. And I may be able to buy one and keep mine until I sell it perhaps early in the year. I can take my time swapping stuff over. So that's the plan. Yeah, sort of decided not to go down the Citroen Dispatch because I think they're midway between. There's not much short wheelbase or mid wheelbase. It's either small van or long wheelbase. So that's it. You've heard it here first. There's a fair few YouTubers been working this week and been talking to, and there's a newish one who's called Firkin Freight. It's Toby. He's got a really good channel. There's also the normal. Dave's got his van at Anvil Logistics. He's got his van back. There's Tom at TG Logistics. I best name them all. Best not leave any. There's James at Freddie Fletcher. Neil at Neptunes. Who's got Mercedes Vito. And I've left someone out. I'm bound to left someone out. Oh, Andy P. Got a new van coming next week, Andy. Got your Renault Master. So we look forward to seeing how you get on with that. I think you're picking up Tuesday. That's what you said. So they're all really good YouTubers. So look at their channels, subscribe to their channels as well, because it's all information that may help you lot who are listening to this if you're interested in coming on. If you ask me any questions, I will try and answer them. If I don't get back to you, it's not because I'm ignorant, it's because I just haven't looked or I've just missed it. But I apologise. But if you do like what you see, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, whatever you bloody well have to do. I don't know. I'm not into all that. I'm the only one that don't edit anything because I haven't got time. B, I haven't got the technical brain because I'm old. And C, I just like doing it like this. So, I'm going to put a video out again next week. During the week. I ain't quite sure which one I'm going to put out next week because there's a couple of things I'm interested in doing. It may be one on outgoings. How much... It's alright I had a question asked and I answered it by a person called George Stevenson. Really good question. Yeah. My 1,000 I aim for a week is gross. You've got to take off that. You think, oh, he does 1,000 a week. I'll do that. Yeah, gross. I'm going to try and do my net figure for you, or roughly what I get for me, so it's not sugar coated. Anyway, have a good week. I rambled on for 38 minutes coming up to, and I'll speak next week. That, by the way, was when I caught it in a door, my van door, and took a chunk of skin off. So that's all it is. It's sealed up, but bloody hell did it hurt. That was on Tuesday. Anyway, on that note, have a good week.